بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين الحمد لله والصلاة والسلام على أشرف سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم سبحان الله الحمد لله لا إله إلا الله الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر لا حول ولا قوة إلا بالله العظيم. A dá ọpẹ́ fún Ọlọ́run ọba àjọkẹ́ ayé, ọba àṣàkẹ́ ọ̀run, ọba tó ti wà kí gbogbo ayé tó wà, ọba tó máa bẹ nígbà tí ò sí ẹ̀dá kankan mọ́, kábíyá ò sí Allahu Akbar kòtò ìràjálẹ̀jẹ̀lẹ̀ àlèwálé gbéraní. A kí Ọlọ́run ọba tó tún ṣọ́ wa títí di àkókò yìí, ọba tí ọpẹ́ tọ́ sí, ọba tó ju ọba lọ, ọba tó ju wípé ká ní kí bàtà pẹ́ lẹ́sẹ̀, ọba tó ju wípé ká ní kí adé pẹ́ lórí, ọba tó máa ń gbàjọbálẹ̀ ọba Allahu Akbar kẹ̀bẹ̀ ìràjálẹ̀jẹ̀lẹ̀ àlèwálé gbéraní. A dúpẹ́ lọ́dọ̀ Ọlọ́run ọba lórí ọmọ, lórí ọkọ, lórí aya, lórí iṣẹ́ wa, lórí èròǹgbà wa tó ń bá wa mú ṣe ní ti dáadáa. A dúpẹ́ lọ́dọ̀ Allah ọba tí ò gbowó, tí ò gbòbì, tí ò gba nǹkan kan bí òun ṣe wípé alhamdulilayi 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 rabbil alamin. A tún wá dúpẹ́ kó ṣọ́ wa títí di wákàtí yìí náà tó ń sọ wípé èyí náà ni òkè àràfá bẹ́rù ṣe ń bà wá tó wípé ǹjẹ́ ó máa ṣẹlẹ̀ nínú ọdún yìí, ǹjẹ́ léyìí ò wá ní jẹ́ sítórì pé kò wá ní ṣẹlẹ̀ tàbí ó máa ṣẹlẹ̀. A dúpẹ́ lọ́dọ̀ Ọlọ́run ọba wípé ó wá sí mímúṣẹ. Ọ̀la náà ni ó máa jẹ́ ọdún wa ní ọdún iléyá. Àwa bẹ Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala kó máa fi eléyìí ṣe àṣemọ oore fún èmi àti yín, kí Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala kó jẹ́ ká ṣe ọ̀pọ̀lọpọ̀ ọdún láyé nínú àlàáfíà, nínú ọlá ńlá, nínú ìfọ̀kànbalẹ̀, àlékún owó, àlékún ọmọ, àlékún àrísìkí, àlékún ìfọ̀kànbalẹ̀. A bẹ̀ Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala kó má ṣàlàyé ṣe fún orí kọ̀ọ̀kan èmi àti yín, ibikíbi tí ẹ ti ń gbọ́ mi, ibi tí ẹ ti ń wò mí, àtẹ̀yin tẹ́ máa wò mí létí àti lọ́jọ́ iwájú. Ojú ta fi ń wo ara wa yìí ta là sílẹ̀ kedere yìí, kán má fi gbókùú ọmọ ká wa mọ́lé, ká má fi mọ sàárè ọmọ. Èmi gbígbà tàlàáfíà kọ́lọ́run wọ́ kó fi ta wá lọ́rẹ. Ọlá kún fàyàkùn, ọlá ìníkú Ọlọ́run, ọlá ìjẹ́kan ṣoṣo Ọlọ́run, ọlá wípé ọ̀dọ̀ ẹ̀ láti wá, ọ̀dọ̀ ẹ̀ náà la máa padà sí, ọlá títóbi ẹ̀, ọlá la hawla wala quwwata illa billahil azim. Àwa ti ara Ọlọ́run Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala àkí ànábì wa Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, kí ìkẹ́ àtijọ́ ọlá Ọlọ́run ọba kó lọ wá bá síwájú ọ̀gá wa ẹni tọ́lọ́run rán sí wa wípé kó wá fi wá mọ̀nà. Àtúbọ̀tán rere náà kó wá jẹ́ ti orí kọ̀ọ̀kan èmi àti yín, bọ́dà mi àti sísítà mi, níbikíbi tí ẹ ti ń gbọ́ mi, ibikíbi tí ẹ máa ti máa wò mí lọ́jọ́ iwájú. Akíra wa ní kí ọlá kí assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Gbogbo ẹ̀yin tẹ̀ ń join náà, please ẹ jẹ́ ká máa share. Àní pẹ́ lọ́jọ́ títí òní torí àwọn sísítà wa, alájà wa, dókítà wa, nọ́ọ̀sì wa, gbogbo ẹ̀ pátápátá náà jẹ́ tí a gbé wá hàn ní ju 1 hour lọ láti fún wa. Bọ̀ a dúpẹ́ lọ́dọ̀ Ọlọ́run Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Wọ́n ní kò sí nǹkan tó o ṣe according to nǹkan tí Islam tó fi kọ́ wa wípé tó bá jẹ́ wípé ọbẹ̀ lásán ló kọ̀yàn báwo lọ́n ṣe ń sè é, ó máa gba ládàá ńbẹ̀. Bó bá jẹ́ òwú ló fi hàn yàn báyìí pé bọ́n ṣe ń fòwú sínú abẹ́rẹ́ lélẹ́yìí, ó máa gba ládàá ńbẹ̀. Àwa dúpẹ́ lọ́dọ̀ Ọlọ́run Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tó lè jẹ́ ká mọ rírì àwọn sísítà wa, àwọn alájà wa, àwọn àǹtí wa tá a gbé wá lọ́jọ́ títí èní. Èyí tó ń ṣe yìí náà kọ́lọ́run bá wa fi rọ́pò nǹkan ìdùnnú, nǹkan ayọ̀, nǹkan ìgbéga, kọ́lọ́run bá wa fi rọ́pò ẹ̀ fún wọn. Torí wípé àwọn kan wà tó jẹ́ pé wọ́n máa wo àwọn èèyàn bí ìgbà tó jẹ́ pé ṣé èmi ṣá ní lẹ́bù mi, ṣé irú nǹkan báyìí ni mo fẹ́ ṣe, ṣé irú nǹkan Islam ó yé wa jura wa lọ. Èyí tán fẹ́ ṣe lọ́jọ́ títí òní yìí, kọ́lọ́run bá wa fi ládá tó pọ̀, kọ́lọ́run bá wa fi sínú ìdílé wọn, kọ́lọ́run bá wa fi ìfọ̀kànbalẹ̀, ẹ̀mí gígùn, àlàáfíà téèyàn fi máa ń rí oore Islam lórí ara wọn, lórí ọkọ, lórí ọmọ, kọ́lọ́run bá wa fi ta wọ́n lọ́rẹ. Kọ́lọ́run máa fi ṣèdájọ́ aburú fún wọn nílé ayé àti lọ́jọ́ gbéǹde àlìkíámọ̀. Wọ́n máa wá kábàámọ̀ yìí pé kíndé tí mo wá bá wọn lọ ṣe irú program, kíndé tí mo bá wọn lọ dá sírú nǹkan báyìí, Ọlọ́run má jò jáde látẹnu wọn. Níṣe ni káwọn náà tún máa dúpẹ́ pé alhamdulillah nǹkan tí mo deliver yìí, Ọlọ́run bá mi fi oore sí, bá mi fi báràkà sí, Ọlọ́run jó jẹ́ bẹ́ẹ̀. ọlọ́run bá fàṣẹ sí ọlá kún fàyà kún ọlá ìjẹ́ kan ṣoṣo ọlọ́run ọlá láhùlọ́wọ́lá kù wọ́tà ilà abẹ́là alẹ́ lazim. Now a máa gbé àwọn sísítà wa wọlé, àwọn sísítà alájà wa Azeezat Saka láti Tulamon. Tán bá wọ́n ti wọlé báyìí sí àwọn náà máa tún wá introduce ara wọn ní ṣókí, náà máa introduce ara wọn tó bá wá di later ẹ̀yin tẹ bá dúró tẹ bá fẹ́ wo later láti introduce ara wọn dáadáa wọ́n máa introduce ara wọn later bọ̀ kán tiẹ̀ kọ́ introduce ara wọn ṣókí ń sìn káwá máa bá ètò lọ. Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh sister mi, ṣàlàfíà lẹ wà, ṣàlàfíà la bá yín.
Alhamdulillah, wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullah.
Alhamdulillah, alhamdulillah rabbil alamin.
Shegoni Lotu, thank you for giving me the opportunity to come today to talk. Orúkọ mi ni Azeeza Saka. I work as a nurse in specialty in mental health care, and I have over 10 years experience in mental health provision. At the moment, I am currently training as counseling psychologist in relation to mental health and how we can help people in this area. The reason why I'm here today is to give you a better view about mental health and what we do, mental health practitioner. Hopefully, at the end of today, I hope that you'll be able to have a better understanding of what is mental health. Èyí tí Yorùbá ń pè ní àìsàn ọpọlọ àìsàn ọpọlọ, and how to understand the conditions, different type of conditions, and how we can look after anyone with that kind of condition.
Ẹ ṣé gan ni, jazakallahu khairan. Gbogbo ẹ̀yin tẹ́ ẹ ṣe ń join ni wa, please ẹ máa type ibi tẹ́ ti ń wọlé, ibi tẹ́ ti ń join ni wa, ìlú bó lẹ wà, ṣé Tulamon lẹ ti join ni wa wà ní Ireland tàbí ẹ̀yin tí Amẹ́ríkà wà ń bẹ̀, ẹ jẹ́ ká máa rí kẹ́dẹ̀ máa share. Mo fẹ́ jẹ́ kẹ́ ṣe nǹkan torí wá máa fi wú wípé odindi àwọn tá a gbé dìde ìyẹ́ ẹ jẹ́ ká share torí àǹfààní àwọn ẹlòmíì la fi máa ń sọ bẹ́ẹ̀. Ká má wàá lọ jẹ́ aládàáni kan jẹ́, please ẹ jẹ́ ká share. Gbogbo wa pátápátá làdmí o, ẹ jẹ́ ká máa type ẹ̀ síbẹ̀ wípé please share. Mo fẹ́ máa rí pé kẹ́yìn náà máa type ẹ̀ fún àwọn ẹlòmíì tán bá ẹ̀ṣẹ̀ ń join ni wa pé káwọn náà máa share wọ́n lè jẹ àǹfààní, ká lè jọ jẹ àǹfààní yìí òun ni. Now ká má dá ara wa dúró. Question number 1 tí mo fẹ́ béèrè lọ́wọ́ yín alájà mi sister mi wípé kí tiẹ̀ ní what is the mental health gangan, kí ni according to Yorùbá wọ́n máa lárùn ọpọlọ a lè pè lárùn oríṣiríṣi ọ̀nà náà fi máa ń pè, but kí ni ó jẹ́, báwo lẹ ṣe lè fọ fún wa? Bismillah, ẹ jẹ́ àkọ́kọ́ bẹ̀rẹ̀ ńbẹ̀ yẹn náà.
Mental health, èyí tí Yorùbá ń pè ní àrùn ọpọlọ, ọ̀nà mẹ́ta ni ó ti máa affect àwa ènìyàn. Ọ̀nà àkọ́kọ́ ni emotional, ọ̀nà kejì psychological, and ọ̀nà kẹta our social well-being. Tí a bá kọ́kọ́ mú ní the first one tí mo sọ, kí ni à ń pè ní emotional? Ìhun ni whether you feel happy within yourself, whether you feel sad or angry or you feel love, nǹkan tí à ń refer sí as emotional name. And then when you talk about psychological health, òun ni láti lè ní àròjinlẹ̀ lórí nǹkan, bí orí iná níwájú ẹ̀yìn ìsinyìí ọpọlọ asọ̀fẹ́ ìgbà má máa kó sínú iná yẹn, it's not right to do so. So, and then the last one is our social well-being. Ìyẹn tó túmọ̀ sí wípé bí a ṣe ń bá ara wa lò nímọ̀ nípa ẹnìkejì wa, bí à ń bá wọn relate properly ni àbí à ń relate wọn in a funny way, or our roles generally in our life. Ṣé ẹ̀ ń gbọ́ mi?
À ń gbọ́ yín mà, ẹ tẹ̀síwájú. Gbogbo iléeṣẹ́ ń gbọ́ wọn, tẹ́ bá ń gbọ́ wọn ẹ jẹ́ ká máa rí love, ká máa rí like, please. Ọ̀fẹ́ ni mi ò ní gbowó lọ́wọ́ anybody. Tẹ́ bá ń gbọ́ wọn kán lè mọ̀ wípé ẹ̀ ń gbọ́ wọn, ẹ jẹ́ ká máa tẹ love àti like, please.
Okay, to continue on the issue of mental health. To survive and reproduce in this life, our body relies on major internal organs láti perform certain functions. And when one or two of these organs come together, it becomes what we call the body system. Almighty Allah created the body system with so many organs, just like I mentioned before, and each one of them has different functions. Take, for example, we have the liver, we have the stomach, we have the lungs, we have the heart, and we also have the brain. All of these organs, apart from the brain, is all related to our physical health. And when we experience problem with any of these physical organs, we go to our GP for help. We see Yorùbá pè ní doctor, àwọn lọ sí ọ̀dọ̀ àwọn doctor wa láti help wa láti understand kí ló ń ṣẹlẹ̀ ní o, àwọn ò feel well, blood pressure ní high, GP a ṣe necessary test láti get to the bottom of the problem tó ń ṣe olúwẹ̀. But tí èèyàn bá ní problem pẹ̀lú ọpọlọ ẹ̀, èyí tí a pè ní brain organ, it's also important pé a rí necessary professionals in this area. The way tí Ọlọ́run ṣe dá ọpọlọ is a very complex and mysterious organ. It comprises of over 1 billion neurons and over 1,000 trillion synapses that make up the brain connection that make up the connection in our brain. The brain also controls various functions of the body, including our mental ability. If you look at Quran, Surah Al-Furqan, verse 2, Allah sọ pé I have created each thing and determined it with precise determination. So ó fi yé wa pé each organ tó ń create, they all have different things to do for us in our human body, and they all have different functions, and all of them work together in order for us to call ourselves human beings. So looking after our mental health is just like looking after our physical health. And the earlier we are able to recognize the importance of our mental health, the earlier we are able to deal with different conditions that might affect our well-being. Because throughout our lifetime, we go through challenges, different challenges in our lives, special situations that will make us reach in completing our day-to-day activities. And it is important to look after ourselves in order to maintain a peaceful life, a peaceful living. Again, I'm going to quote one chapter of the Quran, which I'm just reading recently. It says, chapter 4, verse 28. Ọlọ́run sọ níbẹ̀ ó ní Ọlọ́run fẹ́ láti ṣe ìrọ̀rùn fún yín ẹ̀yin ọmọ ẹ̀dá ènìyàn, a sì ṣe ènìyàn ní ọ̀lẹ. Like, tí Ọlọ́run bá wà fún Ọlọ́run dá wa as ọ̀lẹ. So that means we can't really do everything. We can't be superhero in our everyday life. Rather, what we can just do is to do our best and leave the rest. And hope that Almighty Allah will help us with the more that the little that we have done.
Alhamdulillah. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alamin. Yeah. Ṣé ẹ ti wà okay pẹ̀lú bẹ́ ṣe dáhùn bẹ̀ yẹn? Ṣé kí n continue?
Continue. Then one other thing I could add to that question one was that in recent findings, especially in Nigeria, a lot of people suffer from mental health. Like over 40 million people suffer from mental health in Nigeria.
A ṣì ń bọ̀ ń bẹ̀ yẹn, ibẹ̀ yẹn a máa expand ibẹ̀ yẹn dáadáa. Ẹ jẹ́ àwọn point ibi tá a lọ gangan nìyẹn. Ẹ jẹ́ kí n wo question tí mo ní nílẹ̀ bí báyìí. Ẹ jẹ́ ká tún lọ sí pé okay, what is the good about mental health and what is the considered to be bad mental health? Ǹjẹ́ ibẹ̀ yẹn ṣe wà pẹ̀lú mi?
Mo wà pẹ̀lú ìmọ̀.
Okay, question number 2 nìyẹn mà.
Okay. Kí ni à ń pè ní good mental health and kí ni bad mental health? Good mental health ni kí ni ìlera àti àìlera. Being able to think and feel and react in the way that you want to live your life is considered to be a very good mental health. Ṣé ẹ gbọ́ mi?
À ń gbọ́ yín.
It's considered to be a good mental health because there's no point living anybody else's life. You need to live your own life to feel good about yourself. Another thing that we can say is a good mental health. A lot of what you put into your system affects how you feel inside. And this food, whether it's drink or whether it's food or drink, it affects your mood. The right food that you eat will hydrate your body and keep your mind hydrated as well. You feel energetic, you feel optimal concentration in yourself. All of this, if you are doing it, you will have good mental health. Also, good night's sleep. Most people need at least 7 to 8 hours of quality sleep in order for us to function properly. And if you don't have proper sleep, you are definitely going to have bad mood. Your emotion is going to be affected. So that will affect your emotional well-being, and therefore your behavior, how you act out, will also be affected. So in order also to maintain good mental health, we need exercise, at least 30 minutes of exercise a day. You don't have to run the mountain or go 5 kilometers every day. Just even exercise around the house, walking or dancing to your favorite music will give you good mental health. Also, taking time to talk to somebody about how you feel. If you're not comfortable talking to a friend or family member, it's also good to try and see if there's any other side out there. Somebody that doesn't really know you, but I can give you a listening ear for how you feel and what is it that you're going through. Àwọn èèyàn wa nígbà míì wọ́n máa rò pé okay òun ò fẹ́ ṣe pẹ̀lú lágbájá òun ò fẹ́ ṣe pẹ̀lú tàmẹ̀dù. When you are living on your own, it is important that you connect with people, friends, to maintain a good relationship, is as well as maintaining good positive mental health. Because if you look at it, majority of people that live alone and they don't have any connection with human beings, they go through a lot of emotional, psychological problems, and that's not good for your mental health at all. So it's always nice to find a balance, you know, in what we are doing in order for us to maintain good mental health. Kí wá ni à ń pè ní àìlera poor mental health? Àìlera a lè consider as when you go through period of poor mental health, you find that the way you are thinking, the way you are feeling, or even reacting to little things will become difficult, or even sometimes impossible to cope with. Even daily stress can be a sign of poor mental health. And having continuous low mood can contribute to unhappiness. This indicates poor mental health. Hello.
Àwa pẹ̀lú yín. À ń gbọ́ yín, àwa pẹ̀lú yín.
Okay. I just try and say one more thing there, that it's important that mental health is very common. It's very common, and it is all right to speak to somebody about it, to approach somebody and say, oh, look, my friend, I'm not feeling well today. I just feel like talking to somebody about how I feel today. You know, poor mental health does not mean a certain group of people are not going to be affected because they are rich or because they have everything in their life. Mental health affects every one of us, and when it affects us, we all have poor health. So I will emphasize that it's important to speak to people when you feel that you're not up to your optimum self, that you get in touch with your family or friends, that you know that you can trust them in order to maintain a good mental health.
Now, ẹ ṣé gan ni. Ẹ jẹ́ ká lọ sí nọmba 3 torí pé kò tiẹ̀ àkókò yẹn ò dúró dè wá rárá torí pé níwọ̀nba àkókò tẹ́ fún wa. What is contribute factor to mental health problem, types of mental health illness? That is number 3.
Okay. Ìyẹn ni àìlera ọpọlọ. So many things ló lè contribute fún ènìyàn láti ní àìlera ọpọlọ, and one of them ni biological factors. Kí là ń pè ní biological factor? In some family, they have this condition, they are prone to these conditions, and if the family has an history of mental illness, the possibility that descendants from that family will suffer from mental problem. Biological factor is also in Nigeria called I'm not so sure if I got it right, but I think to run in family is what is the biological factor. Another thing that under biological factor is that certain if you have injury as a child and it affects your brain over time, that injury can have an impact on your mental conditions. So, Amen.
Yeah.
And under, as well as under biological factor, we have infection. If you have infection in your brain and it's not treated, this will develop into mental problem. Also, trauma. For instance, ọmọ tí ẹgbẹ́ lè sìn yìí ìgbà tí wọ́n bí ó lack oxygen, and if this condition is not addressed at young age, the child could go on and have trauma, and that is mental problem. Ṣé ẹ gbọ́ mi ma?
À ń gbọ́ yín, gbogbo ilé ń gbọ́ yín. À ń gbọ́ yín, ẹ
Yes, ma.
continue, à ń gbọ́ yín. Ẹ bá wa press love like o so that tán máa mọ̀ pé
So,
àwa pẹ̀lú àwọn o. À ń gbọ́ yín.
so that's all about biological factors. Anyway, when you come to psychological factors, èyí tí Yorùbá máa ń pè ní bí agbèrè àfiṣe àbí nǹkan, ìyẹn ni wọ́n ń pè ní tí if a child at a young age is physically abused or emotionally or sexually abused, impact of that abuse can go on with a child for a very long time. And if it's not dealt with, if it's not talked about, that child will continuously have emotional problem, and that is the contributing factor to àìlera ọpọlọ. Also, another thing tó wà under psychological ni pé nísìnyí ọmọ tí wọ́n ṣẹ̀ṣẹ̀ bí at early age, maybe 4 or 5 years of age, ìyá or bàbá ẹ̀ wá kú. Ṣé wọn pé ọmọ yẹn kò ní ní parent connection, and that can have an impact on how that child grows up in the future. It's the same thing náà ní tí evidence ìyá tó ti ń wá ọmọ for a very long time. Ó wá jẹ̀jà rí ọmọ, and then after some years ọmọ yẹn wá kú. That emotional effect only affect a parent for a very long time, and if it's not addressed, it's going to be a mental problem for that person. So also àwọn ẹlòmíì nínú bẹ́ẹ̀dà Ọlọ́run ṣe dá wa, a máa find it difficult láti relate to other people. When you find it difficult to relate to other people and you're not able to get along with Mr. A, B, C, or D, definitely you are going to have a lonely life. You're going to be on your own most of the time. And when you're on your own most of the time, what happens? Yes, you have mental problem. You behave irrationally. You do things. You do impulse buying because you don't relate to other people. You don't have anybody to talk to, and all of that affect our emotional well-being. Also, like I mentioned earlier, when your baba prone to stress, like stress also can trigger it. Like for instance, ẹni tí ó ti wà married for over 20 years and then ọkọ ẹ̀kọ́ ilé sọ pé òun ò fẹ́ mọ́. Ṣé wọn pé irú èèyàn báyẹn ó máa feel ashamed láti jẹ́ kí family mọ̀ what happen, kí ló ṣẹlẹ̀, tó tẹ̀ fẹ́ra yín mọ́. Some people find it so difficult láti come out of divorce, and when you are in that emotional state because of divorce in your family, you are going to have poor mental health, which is our emotional well-being. And death, another thing is death of close one. Let's say I'm very close to my father, for instance, and then all of a sudden I lost my dad, and then the connection is lost. And if I'm not able to understand that we're all going to go at some stage, we're all going to die at a particular time in our life. If I dwell on the death of my parent for too long, I'm going to put myself in a very bad emotional state, and that can affect me in my relation, in how I'm able to go to work. If I don't have good emotional well-being, how am I going to be able to relate to other people? It's impossible, Also, some people have anger issues. If you have anger issue, you are always getting angry with so many people around you. People are going to move away from you, and that is not good for your mental health as well. And the feeling of inadequacy is another factor that can affect somebody. Somebody with low self-esteem, we have it very difficult to take on challenges around maybe going to school or being able to come out and talk or anything like that. That can affect somebody's emotional well-being and psychological well-being. Changing job or having no job, especially in Nigeria, majority doesn't have job. And because of that, you see their mood is bad. Some of them, they just go along and say, Allah Ashaniwa, Allah Ashaniwa. They are suffering in silence. They can't relate to anyone because they have nothing. So having no job is a problem and is a mental health problem. And just another thing I could add on to that is that a child that has grown up in a family that is very abusive, if the parent has been very abusive towards that child, the child will have low self-esteem as they grow up, and they will have subsequently not being able to relate to other people, and also they just find it difficult to maintain social care, social well-being in their life. And then when the next question that is in that question that you asked me is type of mental problem and illness. Àìlera ọpọlọ. Àìlera ọpọlọ pọ̀ ní oríṣiríṣi, and I can't mention all of them. There are so many of them. And one of them, I'll just mention about 5 or 6. And I can go on into details another day on explaining all these type of conditions and how we can deal with them. One of them is depression. Èyí tí Yorùbá ń pè ní ìrẹ̀wẹ̀sì ọkàn. Now and again, a lè ní ìrẹ̀wẹ̀sì ọkàn because of one issue or the other. Depression pé oríṣiríṣi. Because of time, I cannot explain all kind of conditions tonight. But if I'm given any other opportunity some other time, I will be able to explain more on it. Anxiety is another one. It's another type of mental health problem. Èyí tí Yorùbá ń pè ní àìbalẹ̀ ọkàn àbí ìjáyà. Pé èèyàn kan máa jáyà láì ní reason tó fi ń jáyà. Ọkàn kò ní balẹ̀, ó kàn máa wà worry all the time lórí mọ ọkọ tó ń ṣe, and that will lead to complex in one's life like high blood pressure and all those kind of things. Another mental health condition I can mention now is bipolar disorder. Bipolar disorder ni mo ń pè ní Yorùbá. So
ṣe rí ibi tẹ mú ẹnu bà yẹn, màá ní ṣé ń gbọ́ mi mà.
Yes ma.
Ṣé mọ̀ wípé ẹ̀yin lọ̀gá wa, ṣé mọ̀ wípé field kan náà lèmi àti yín wà, ẹ̀yin ni ọ̀gá wa tí ẹ wá rán wa ń ṣẹ́. Ẹ má tiẹ̀ jẹ́ ká lọ sọ́dọ̀ àwọn oní bipolar yẹn. Tá bá fẹ́ treat ọ̀rọ̀ bipolar whatever, bóyá a máa choose ọjọ́ fún ẹ mọ̀ pé òun náà wide, ẹ get nǹkan tí mo ń sọ. Ẹ jẹ́ ká lọ sí number 4 sí, torí mo wo time tẹ fún mi ní o, mo wo time tẹ fún mi, mo lè fẹ́ kí n kẹ́ bá wa cover ìwọ̀nba ẹ̀ tó wà nínú. Now number 4 ń bẹ̀ ni
mo lè spare
okay, alhamdulilayi.
I can hold on to
okay.
Yeah.
Number 4 èyí tó wà ń bẹ̀ ń sìn ni wípé ǹjẹ́ gbogbo all the mental health tó ní issue ṣáwọn gbogbo wọn ló máa ń wà violent, tó máa ń ṣe tàbí ó ní àwọn kan tó jẹ́ pé silent or àwọn kan tó jẹ́ pé wọ́n wà afẹ́kẹ́ ṣàlàyé bẹ̀rẹ̀ náà fún wa lóní ṣókí ká tó wá lọ sí tọ̀dọ̀ àwọn tí ta ti fẹ́ gbé ọ̀rọ̀ ti Nàìjíríà wọlé gangan, ibẹ̀ yẹn la fẹ́ ibẹ̀ yẹn la máa wá ìdíjẹ́ bọ̀ eléyìí ń ṣe ẹ̀kan ṣàlàyé fún wa díẹ̀. Bísímìlà iṣẹ́ ń gbọ́ mi mà.
Ó tó di pé mo ánsà àti number 4 yìí, ẹ yẹ kí n túbọ̀ sọ díẹ̀ lórí irú condition tí a ní fún àìsàn ọpọlọ. Èyí tó jẹ́ pé òun ni Yorùbá máa ń sábà ń pè ní wèrè, òun ni òyìnbó mọ̀ sí schizophrenia. Schizophrenia jẹ́ wèrè ọdẹ orí tàbí wèrè inú. Gbogbo anybody tó bá ti sick ní Nàìjíríà wọ́n máa ń pè wọ́n ní wèrè. But not everybody is wèrè because we have different type of conditions. and the only one tí èèyàn lè pè ní wèrè ni ẹni tó bá ń suffer pẹ̀lú schizophrenia. Ṣé ẹ̀ ń gbọ́ mi mà?
Gbogbo wa là ń gbọ́ yín, mo
nínú
kàn sọ fún wọn ní pé mi ò ṣàjòwọ́, ẹ jẹ́ ká rí love ká rí like so
nínú
that àwọn náà máa mọ̀ ẹ́ pé ẹ̀ ń gbọ́ wa, à ń gbọ́ yín, èmi gbọ́ yín, ṣáà má bọ́dà, ẹ mọ̀ gbọ́ yín.
nínú oríṣiríṣi àìsàn àìlera ọpọlọ òun náà ni a ní epilepsy èyí tí Yorùbá ń pè ní wárápá. Wárápá náà is a very severe condition so yẹ pé if it's not looking after it will affect your mental health in big time. And then lastly in one of these conditions is dementia èyí tí Yorùbá máa ń pè ní gbígbàgbé nǹkan ní gbogbo ìgbà ìyẹn ni dementia. So and we move on to question 4. Maybe on some other time I will explain more on those conditions and how it affects us.
Wọn lọ́tọ̀ọ̀tọ̀ bẹ́ẹ̀ yẹn ni láti ìbọn kákan ṣe general bí kákan introduce ẹ̀ kí ló ń fà á kí ni nǹkan kan bẹ́ẹ̀ yẹn la kàn fẹ́ ṣe lé nìkan. A máa mọ bóyá ọjọ́ tá bá fẹ́ treat dementia báwo ló ṣe ń ṣe èèyàn kankan bẹ́ẹ̀ yẹn bóyá bipolar tàbí bó ṣe pọ̀ lóríṣiríṣi bẹ́ẹ̀ yẹn náà a máa choose ọjọ́ láti lè inshallah. Èyí tí mo wá béèrè lọ́wọ́ yín bẹ̀ ni pé mo ní ṣé gbogbo àwọn tí wọ́n bá nílùú problem ṣé gbogbo wọn náà máa ń wà violated tó jẹ́ pé bóyá wọ́n máa ń fi fa wàhálà tàbí wọ́n fi máa ń da community rú tàbí wọ́n fi máa ń da àdúgbò rú tàbí wọ́n fi máa ń da lérú. Question number 4 tí mo béèrè
nìyẹn. Most individuals with psychiatric disorder are not violent. Majority of them are not violent. Although we have some of them that can commit assaults or even violent crimes. And irú àwọn èèyàn tó bá máa ń tó wà violent. Kílẹ̀ yín mà. Kì í ṣe gbogbo wọn ló wà violent. Some of them are, but not all of them. Irú àwọn tó máa ń wà violent yẹn, for instance, ẹni tó bá ní history of violent behaviour. Ẹ tèkì ọkùnrin àgbàlagbà ń sìn tó jẹ́ pé ó ní anger issue, ó ní violent behaviour, ó tó di pé ó ní mental problem. If mental problem bá wá develop later in life, you can only imagine how that person is going to be. Because they are going to be really, really violent. Because when they are actually in good health, they are really they have history of violent behavior. But definitely they are going to misbehave. They are going to be violent. They are going to commit crimes. They are going to do things that will scare people away from them. Also, patients with substance abuse. Àwọn tó máa ń lo mo ń try láti mọ̀ pátá ń pè ní substance abuse ní Yorùbá. Àwọn tó máa ń lo igbó. Ẹni tó máa ń lo igbó tí Yorùbá òyìnbó ń pè ní induced psychotic disorder because ẹni tó máa ń lo igbó as much tí wọ́n bá ń lò for a long period of time it will affect your mental ability and therefore you have misbehaviour you misbehave with other people around you and especially when you have mental health problem you are now living in mental health institution. You are definitely going to misbehave. You are definitely going to commit violence. Another thing tó tún máa ń jẹ́ kí ẹlòmíì wà violent ní irú symptoms condition wọn yẹn. Sometimes take for instance ẹni tó ní schizophrenia ó máa ní one of the symptoms tó máa ní ni pé wọ́n máa ń gbọ́ pé èèyàn bá wọn sọ̀rọ̀ ẹni tí ò sí níbẹ̀ ó bá wọn sọ̀rọ̀ wọ́n máa wà paranoid wọ́n máa ní command hallucination wọ́n máa ní so much psychotic thoughts. So imagine irú èèyàn báyẹn tó yẹ pé ó ń gbọ́ ọ̀kan tí ẹnìkan ń sọ níbẹ̀ ẹni tí ò sí níbẹ̀ ó ń gbọ́ ní ọpọlọ ẹ̀ tí ẹni tí ò sí níbẹ̀ yẹn tó bá sọ fún pé gbáragbájá létí iṣẹ́ mọ̀ ó máa respond ó máa gba létí because ó ń listen to somebody that is behave ṣó ti yẹ yín báyẹn ọ̀ ẹni tó yẹ pé ó máa ń ronú pé ó wà paranoid bí mo fẹ́ pé paranoid ní Yorùbá but ẹni tó wà paranoid pé lágbájá báyìí ó wá jí nǹkan mi nínú ilé mi ní the other day ní ọ̀rọ̀ páànù.
Translate ẹ̀ fún wa ní Yorùbá ìyẹn máa sọ lọ a ní àwọn nurse doctor náà lórí ètò àwọn náà translate ẹ̀ fún wa ní Yorùbá ẹ̀ máa sọ lọ.
So irú èèyàn báyẹn definitely because the person has paranoid thoughts, paranoid delusions, they are going to misbehave, they are going to be violent, they are going to be suddenly, okay, oh, I'm going to do this, and then they just misbehave without thinking about it. That's the nature of the symptoms of the condition that makes some of them to be violent. Another thing that could make them to be violent is their age or their gender. For instance, ọmọ kékeré bíi be 19 years of age or 20 years of age ó end up in psychiatric hospital. So that kind of person is a young man and have energy. If the person is in a psychiatric hospital and they are doing one or two things for you, like, oh my God, please don't touch me or something like that, they are going to be aggressive because they have the energy to fight you. The same thing pẹ̀lú ọkùnrin tó wà ní psychiatric hospital, they have the energy because of the way God has created them. They have the energy to react to you pé ìwọ olórí fún mi ìjẹ̀sán mo fẹ́ ní kí n lo tablet báwo ló ti ẹ ṣe ṣiṣẹ́ ìwọ náà lọ lo tablet yẹn. They will be aggressive towards you because of their age or their gender. Another thing that could make some of them to be aggressive is social stress. Ẹni tó wà homeless tó rí lé gbé ó máa ní ìkanra náà ó máa ní ìkanra. There's no way you can do about it. Ó máa ní ìkanra because ikú gbogbo kọ́kọ́ máa affect ẹni pé why am I always like this? Stress yìí gan ti pọ̀ jù jọ má bá mi sọ̀rọ̀ jàre kí ló ń sọ jàre mi ti jọ látàrọ̀. You know all those people like that, they will definitely be aggressive towards you. You know. And also early exposure ní bóyá ọmọ tó gbé tó ní criminal record or tó ti gbé pẹ̀lú àgbàlagbà tó ń ṣe criminal activities or anything like that. Irú ẹni yẹn tó bá padà ní mental health problem, definitely they will be aggressive when they come into the service of mental health care professionals. Kò jẹ́ bó ṣe jẹ́.
Ẹ ṣe gan ni jẹ́sàkà lọ́wọ́ fẹ́ràn system. Now ibi táwa dé yìí gangan òun ni ọ̀rọ̀ tí a fẹ́ fi mọ ti ọ̀rọ̀ ti Nàìjíríà, àwọn challenges tí àwọn tí ó ní àrùn ọpọlọ tó máa ń face bóyá báyìí láti gba treatment fún wọn ni o, bóyá bọ́n ṣe ń treat wọn ni o, bóyá bí condition ọ̀rọ̀ nípa ọ̀rọ̀ alárùn ọpọlọ bó ṣe wà ní Nàìjíríà yẹn jẹ́ lè brief ẹ̀ fún wa kẹ́ bá wa mẹ́nu bà bẹ̀rẹ̀ díẹ̀. Assalamu alaikum.
Okay. Walaikum salam. One of the major challenges in treating mental illness in Nigeria are so broad. There are so many of them, and I cannot mention all of them. But with the little I can, I will say some on it. Like shortage of healthcare facilities in Nigeria. The facilities is not there.
Yeah.
And if facilities are not there, trained professionals in this area will not want to work in an environment where they are putting their own life to care, to their own life in the line to care for somebody else. Who still any company who work in that kind of environment. Majority of Nigerians, someone bad train in that line, they are always looking forward to go and work somewhere else where they will feel protected because they have the facility in that place that to protect you. In a place where the facility is not there, system is saying to face shishembe. And that is why you see many people, they go outside, go to different parts of the world and say, okay, if I get a job in so place. They might be senior psychiatrists in Nigeria, but then if they see the opportunity to come abroad, they will leave. So people living and living and living. There's not going to be anybody there that will provide that care because the facility is not there for them to stay and provide the care. So staff will go. And I imagine Nigeria has, from my own research anyway, one of my doctors was telling me that, can I imagine that Nigeria has only 150 psychiatrists in the whole country of 200 million people.
Wow.
Like, Kini 150 psychiatry is so small.
Wow.
Kini 150 for 200 people. So that is a big problem in Nigerian society, and it needs to be addressed. The third challenge that I can see is that the healthcare staff in mental health psychiatry hospitals in Nigeria are not well trained or equipped to handle the burden of mental health. Ṣé ẹni tí wọ́n train bó ṣe lè ṣe non-violent intervention pẹ̀lú clients? Báwo ló ṣe fẹ́ lọ bá clients yẹn sọ̀rọ̀? báwo ló ṣe fẹ́ approach ẹ̀ nígbà tó bá fẹ́ fún ní oògùn. Of course wọ́n máa ṣe lágídí ni because they don't have the training. So agídí náà máa fi mú ẹni yẹn mọ́lẹ̀, agídí náà máa fi ṣe gbogbo wọn tó máa fẹ́ ṣe because there is no proper training on how to do these things. And even when they are trained or to how to approach people on how to talk to aggressive person, there is no equipment. So it's just so poorly developed, you know. And then if we are to develop a Nigerian system, we need to try and do a lot of research into mental health care, its provision, its services, how it is done, how we can improve it. Because if we are not doing any of that, if we are not doing into research of how to do things better, if we are not going to do it in any way good. I can take one example, just a lay example, like a child that is trying to teach how to tie a scarf. You want to make sure that you tie it properly, right? So you do it today and then you are not finding out how you can do it properly. Definitely you will be doing the same thing again and again and again and you are not getting your results. So we need to do adequate research into mental health care provision and services. And one other thing that is a problem in Nigerian society is the lack of understanding of the roots of mental health illness. People have no idea what is mental health. They don't, once you have mental problems, they don't even want to know what kind of mental health problem it is, what kind of disease it is, how is it affecting. The understanding of the mental health illness is not there. We need people who can give you this better understanding of mental health and how the condition affects people and all. And one major thing as well is the financial support to get mental treatment. Ṣé ẹni tó ní mental problem nísìnyí tí wọ́n fẹ́ gbé lọ sí àrò àwọn fẹ́ gbé lọ sí báyìí àwọn fẹ́ gbé lọ sọ́run tí ò bá lówó láti lọ kò ní lè lọ wọ́n máa ní wọ́n tọ́jú ẹ̀ nínú ilé wọ́n máa ní wọ́n fẹ́ gbé lọ sọ́dọ̀ àáfàá kan tó máa bá wọn tọ́jú ẹ̀ wọ́n máa ní wọ́n fẹ́ gbé lọ sí bíbáyìí. But if the facility was there, if there is money in the service for mental health patients, they won't have to go to anywhere because the government is there to support them financially. The financial support to get mental health treatment is not there in Nigeria. Another major thing that we commonly see is lack of family support or lack of social support. Mental health is been stigmatized for years. Like people label it. Once you say that, oh, so person have mental health problem. If your own family go on, fẹ́ jẹ́ kó mọ̀ pé àwọn ọmọ lágbájá rí because only wèrè ni o, ìfẹ́ kọ́ mọ̀ mi mọ́ wèrè o. They run away from you. And why? Because they don't have the understanding of it. They have the mental health problem has been labeled as something very, very bad, and nobody wants to associate with it. So, lack of social support is a big problem too in Nigerian society, and we need to address all of these things in order to have good mental health service in Nigeria.
Alhamdulillah, mo fẹ́ béèrè àwọn question kan lọ́wọ́ yẹn as a practitioner nurse tí ẹ̀yin náà dẹ̀ ti gbé ní Nàìjíríà. Ǹjẹ́ ní àwọn nǹkan tó ń ṣẹlẹ̀ ní Nàìjíríà yìí because ara àwọn challenges tèmi lè kà kún nìyẹn pẹ̀lú àwọn nǹkan téèyàn rí bíbá ẹ̀ understand sí ìgbà tó jẹ́ pé nǹkan orí fúùdì tí mo wà ní téèyàn rí ní almost everyday ẹ̀ understand tó bá wá ronú padà lọ sí ìlú ibi tó ti wá kó wá rí bọ́n ṣe máa ń treat àwọn èèyàn ń bẹ̀ kó wá rí bọ́n ṣe ń treat àwọn èèyàn ní bíbá ẹ̀ omi gan máa fẹ́ máa bọ́ lójú ẹ̀ ni understand nǹkan tí mò ń sọ ń sìn ẹ ti mention ọkàn ń bẹ̀ yẹn sì wípé anybody tán bá tán ti lébẹ̀ nǹkan yẹn kódà gan kó má ti jẹni tó ń já gan kó kàn máa sọ̀rọ̀ níwájú ilé lásán ọ̀n fẹ́ súnmọ́ ọ̀n ti sá fún nìyẹn ọ̀n ti kò ní ẹ̀pù mọ́ kọ́nà ń kó ṣe dáadáa fún wa now mo wo fídíò kan ní 2 weeks ago because àwọn bíi pásítọ̀ wa àwọn àáfàá wa àwọn náà tún dákún nǹkan tíjọba wa tán tún ṣe fún wa náà irú woman yẹn irú lady yẹn sìn ó sọ wípé pásítọ̀ òun ló sọ fún òun wípé àjẹ́ ni ìyá òun lòun ò gbọ́dọ̀ fojú kan mọ́ tó máa fi jáde láyé ìyá yẹn sìn ó ti wá ní kò ní pé wọ́n diagnose irú illness tó ṣẹlẹ̀ sí ọ bóyá ọdún sábọ̀ èèyàn ti máa mọ̀ wípé a lè categorize ẹ̀ wípé ó wà ní mental health issue ló ní, ó ti yé yín, because woman yẹn ò sọ̀rọ̀ dáadáa, wọ́n ló ti ń gbàgbé nǹkan, wọ́n ní you know so many things, wọ́n ní ó ti máa ń lose bowel síbi tó bá jókòó sí, ẹ understand sí, you win something ẹ̀ náà ó ti ní problem pẹ̀lú ẹ̀ náà, ẹ understand sí. Wọ́n ti believe ń sìn wípé òkè ọmọ ti pè ní àjẹbẹ́ yẹn. Number two ń bẹ̀ ni wípé àáfà kan náà wà tó jẹ́ pé mo wo fídíò yẹn bóyá bíi 2 years ago ń sìn, one young lad báyìí ni àáfà yẹn, one young man ni mo mean, tó ń sọ fún woman yẹn ó ń sọ ní public ni ló ti ṣe topic, ló ti treat topic yìí, bóyá ó ń ṣe wàásù ọ bóyá ó ń ṣe nǹkan kan ní ìta gbangba ló ti ṣe nǹkan náà lọ́jọ́ náà lọ́hùn, tó wá ń sọ fún gbogbo àwọn tó wà ń bẹ pé máa wo ìyá tó jókòó yìí o, ìlú òyìnbó ló ti wá o, àwọn ọmọ ẹ ti kọ̀ sílẹ̀ o, àjẹ́ ni o, ó ń tọ̀ sára nísìnyí o, kò mọ̀ tóun bá ń tọ̀ sára, ẹ understand sí. And bí mo ṣe rí woman yẹn understand sí, for my own view, for my own, mo rí pé ó dà pé woman yìí ó máa ní dementia patient ló máa jẹ́, ṣe understand ẹni tó ti ń gbàgbé nǹkan, ó ti you know something like that. But ẹ wo nǹkan tí à ń fà yẹn, ẹ wo label tó label mọ́ lára ní public láwùjọ. Number two, number three, ẹ wá wo àìmábìkítà àwọn ìjọba wa, ẹ wo oye percentage ẹni tó jẹ́ mental health nurse ta ní Nàìjíríà, ẹ wo oye ẹni tó wà ní Nàìjíríà, ẹ wá wo àwọn ẹni tó gbádùn àtẹni tí ò gbádùn, because èèyàn fẹ́ lè sọ wípé afẹ́ ẹni ní 50-50 gan ni, bóyá ẹni tí ò gbádùn 50, ẹni tó gbádùn gan 50 gan ní Nàìjíríà ní at the moment, ẹ understand sí. Káwọn ìjọba wa kọ́ mọ̀ wá pèsè àwọn nǹkan tó jẹ́ wípé wà you know àwọn nǹkan tó jẹ́ pé ó máa ṣe àǹfààní fún àwọn ọmọ ìlú àṣùbọ̀ ànàlélàì. Ẹ wá wo yẹn ló ń fún àwọn àáfàá yẹn ní opportunity. Ẹ wo èyí tó ṣẹlẹ̀ nìbàdàn, bóyá last year ló ìṣẹ̀lẹ̀ nìbàdàn sìn, tó jẹ́ pé ó dàbí pé kéèsì yẹn wà ní custody, tán ní bàbá kan wípé àwọn fámìlì náà lọ máa, according to nǹkan tí bàbá sọ tó ránṣọ fídíò yẹn, ó láwọn fámìlì náà máa ń mú ọmọ wá síbẹ̀ wípé káwọn bá wọn tọ́jú ẹ̀ without wípé ńṣe ló ní oògùn kan tó ń lò fún, ẹ understand sí, without wípé ńṣe ló ní dókítà kan tó wá bẹ́ẹ̀ lóṣooṣù, without wípé ńṣe ló ní permanent nurse, ọ bóyá ńṣe ló kàn rọra kọ́ ibì kan tó jẹ́ pé bóyá bíi you know bóyá bíi center something tán ti ń gba tán tẹ̀sílẹ̀, nothing like that. Tẹ bá rí àwọn tó sọ wípé ó mú wá síbẹ̀ yẹn máa rẹ́ lòmí ó dàbí skeleton, tẹ bá rẹ́ lòmí báyìí bí ẹni tí ìgbà tó wá tán káwọn ọlọ́pàá lọ síbẹ̀, àwọn wọ́n voice out wọ́n ní àwọn ò jẹun, wọ́n fi àjà wọn bí ni ẹlòmí wọn máa dé mọ́lẹ̀ pẹ̀lú ṣéènì. Òun ló fa náà ní gbogbo ọ̀nà ṣáìdì èmi ní Ìlọrin, Ògùn state yẹn náà tẹ máa rí wọn tó jẹ́ pé àwọn pastors tó máa fi wọ́n máa jẹun, tó máa sokùn mọ́ àwọn èèyàn, tó máa fà wọ́n lọ lórí títì, tó máa fi wọ́n máa tọrọ owó. Subhanallah. Ǹjẹ́ lè rí anything láti bá wa tọ̀
kí Ọlọ́run kí ó máa ṣe àánú fún gbogbo wa. The situation tí Nàìjíríà wà, everybody tó wà ń bẹ̀ ló ń lo opportunity láti rí owó one way or the other. And àwọn èèyàn tó bá lọ sí irú ọ̀dọ̀ èèyàn báyẹn is because they don't have understanding, ignorance, nǹkan tí mo lè pè nìyẹn. Because tí èèyàn bá ní understanding pé irú condition báyìí wà tó ń jẹ́ àìlera ọpọlọ, tó yẹ pé bó ṣe máa ń ṣèyàn níyìn, tí èèyàn dẹ̀ ṣe lè look after yìí, kò ní lọ gbé bá àfáà kan tí ò ní idea, as in no idea of what is mental health. Irú èèyàn yẹn kí ló fẹ́ ṣe fún yín? He can't answer you, he can't find you any solution. Púpọ̀ ọmọ máa sọ fún yín pé kẹ́ mú wá lẹ́yìn, kẹ́ mú wá lọ́la. But your mom or your dad that is there is never going to get better because no one share anything fún wọn. And those people are just using it as avenue láti lè gba owó lọ́wọ́ àwọn èèyàn, láti lè get something from them. Because ìwọ tó gbé ìyá ẹ wá pé àfáà ẹ bá mi wò àbí abalis ẹ bá mi wò, it's because you are worried about your mom. And then when you bring them to them, the opportunity lè ó fẹ́ jẹ́ kí màmá ẹ̀ gbádùn, wọ́n á ní kẹ́ lọ mú 1,000 wá or so million wá kí mọ́mì tó lè gbádùn or anything like that. Whereas tí ẹni yẹn bá ní àgbọ́yé pé nǹkan tó ń ṣe mọ́mì nìyí o, nǹkan báyìí náà ni ẹni tó ń yàgbẹ́ sára, ẹni tó ń gbàgbé nǹkan, ẹni tó kàn máa jáde nínú ilé tó kàn máa rìn lọ tó ní ìmọ̀bi tó wà tó ní lè padà wálé. Ó ti mọ̀ pé dementia ló ń disturb lónìí, and therefore you know how to approach the appropriate professionals pé ẹ jọ o ẹ̀yin tẹ́ ẹ jẹ́ pé ọ̀jọ̀gbọ́n ni nínú area báyìí, kí ni mo lè ṣe kí wọ́n lè máa fi feel better, kí ni mo lè ṣe tí wọ́n lè wọn ní máa yàgbẹ́ sára mọ́ àbí tí wọ́n ní máa gbàgbé nǹkan mọ́, because recovery is there 100%. If you are able to approach the right people láti look after this mental health condition, the person will recover. Recovery is there. They might not completely recover, but they will be manageable. Because tabanite ẹni tó ní àìsàn schizophrenia nísìnyí tá à ń pè ní àmútọ̀runwá is biological in their system. The only thing you can do for that kind of person is to manage it so that kò ní escalate síta débi pé ẹni máa bọ́ síta máa faṣọ ya àbó máa ṣe ní àmàyàmá àbí kò tẹ̀ ní rántí pé okay so person mà níyì onílágbájá máa ní bí mo ṣe wà níyì. You know, so recovery is there. So in order to approach àwọn àfà àbí àwọn herbalist tí wọ́n ṣe stuff like that, the best thing first and foremost is to give awareness about mental health and its condition. Because ignorance is a disease, just like knowing the Shinakpi.
I'm going.
Yeah. So in order to combat something like that, we need to raise awareness about what is mental health. How does it affect people? What can you do? Where can you get help? All of those things are important in order for us to maintain, to approach this problem in Nigeria.
Àwọn èèyàn kan béèrè lọ́wọ́ yín wípé kí lẹ rò wípé bóyá ó lè jẹ́ solution. Èmi náà dẹ̀ ní bíbá ó dàbí pé last one nìyẹn time tẹ fún wa ti fẹ́ tó ń sìn náà, but mo rí pé mo sáré and mo rí pé wọ́n béèrè nípa epilepsy ní irú àwọn topic yẹn ń sìn a máa mú wọn lẹ́yọ kọ̀ọ̀kan ni, not today but a máa bẹ àwọn alájà wa tí wọ́n bá máa ọjọ́ tá a bá máa mú each of the kò ń ṣe nǹkan tó jẹ́ pé èèyàn lè treat báyìí but wọ́n kàn mẹ́nu bà àwọn nǹkan kan ń bẹ̀ ni àwọn èyí tó bá máa wá jẹ́ pé òkè ẹ jẹ́ ká vote èwo lẹ́rù pé bóyá ká fún wọn as in homework as in topic tó fẹ́ bá wa lọ treat tá máa pè wọ́n padà wá ẹ type tó bá jẹ́ síbẹ̀ ṣé epilepsy ṣé yẹn ni ká fún wọn ni ṣé dementia ni ṣé bipolar ni ṣé oríṣiríṣi nǹkan tẹ́ bá fẹ́ ẹ jẹ́ ká type ẹ̀ síbẹ̀ ẹ jẹ́ ká type ẹ jẹ́ ká wo èyí tó bá pọ̀ jù èyí tẹ́ bá béèrè òun la máa fún yín pé okay next time tẹ́ bá máa invite yín wá o nǹkan tá fẹ́ kẹ́ wá sọ̀rọ̀ lé lórí fún wa lélẹ́yìí bisimilahi lórí question please ẹ̀yin tẹ́ bá ẹ̀ṣẹ̀ join yín wa ẹ jẹ́ ká share torí àwọn tí wọn mọ page yìí tán máa jàǹfààní ẹ̀ please do ẹ jẹ́ ká share ká wo àwọn sister wa tán fi odindi bíi wákàtí àbọ̀ sílẹ̀ láti wá bá wa dú pẹ̀lú irú nǹkan báyìí ẹ má jẹ́ ká wá jẹ́ aládàáni kan jẹ ẹ jẹ́ ká share please share and click button of love and like to our sister now salamu alaikum ó yẹ ẹ continue tún kí lẹ rò pé bóyá ó tiẹ̀ àmọ́ pé díẹ̀ náà nìbọn kí lẹ fún òkú tiẹ̀ lè jẹ́ bí solution salamu alaikum.
Because issue of mental health is a massive problem in Nigeria. It's a big challenge. It's like eating an elephant. And how do you eat an elephant? You take one bite at a time. So one thing I can say is that if Nigeria must look at solution for mental issues, then we must begin to raise awareness about mental health and all type of conditions that is inside mental health. That's one thing I would say there. Another thing is that know that the recovery is there. People will get better once they are able to approach the right professionals, the right people that know what they are doing. Recovery is there, and that is the main thing for anyone with mental health, because no one wants to live in that kind of condition for the rest of their life. So we as mental health professionals, we do our best to bring you up to that recovery road and to get to that destination. So recovery is there. It is also necessary that we undertake widespread education of the Nigerian public on the recognition of mental health disease and disorders. Because so many people don't have the education around it. It's an ignorant, ignorance. People don't know about it. They are ignorant of it, and if when people don't know about something, they do things wrongly. So we need widespread education of the Nigerian public to recognize mental health disease. It's just like you looking after your physical health, just like I said before. And if you want to get better your physical health, you go to your GP. Your mental health there is a disease. It's not a stigma. It's not pain. It's a disease, and we need to look after it. Another solution that I can say is family support. Our family, if you know that mommy is having one or two problems, please seek the right professionals. Don't just go and dump mommy in a far backyard somewhere. You can only imagine what is going to happen to mommy when you turn your back. You can only imagine. And if you must go to Afa, do your research. Kí ni Afa ẹ̀ ti ṣe ta ló ti wòsàn? Báwo làwọn tó ń di lọ sọ́dọ̀ ẹ̀? Báwo ni wọ́n ṣe rí sí? Báwo ni wọ́n ṣe rí sí? And ẹni tó pe rẹ̀ ní Afa, I don't know how the person is related to mental health. Because tó bá yẹ pé Afa ni you are in a different line altogether. So mi mọ bó ṣe lè sọ pé as Afa you can now look after mental health. I don't know where that's how you can do that thing because you don't have the skill to call your first self Afa. It's people that are in that profession, that train in that profession, that can actually help you. Never mind bí o tó fẹ́ sọ fún mọ́mì ọ̀dájì pé wọ́n fi gbé wọn lọ sọ́sí láti wo condition wọn. Spend the money and you will realize that it's worth it. It's worth it. So please, family, we need your support. Society, we need your support in finding a solution to mental health problem. Another thing is we need government input. Like we need government to be able to be there at all levels to address this issue for us. And this, when we ask for government support, we want government to lay an emphasis on mental health prevention and cure, not just in paper. You do not just talk about it so that the public will see you that you are giving us this large strategy on how to address mental health. Make sure that after you have done the talk, you also implement the action. Don't let it be just all talk, no action. We want to see action. We don't want you to read it as that if you elect me into the local government of so area, I will make sure I do this for you. We want to see actions. And that is important as well in maintaining good mental health in Nigerian society.
A dúpẹ́ lọ́dọ̀ Ọlọ́run. Hello sister mi, ṣé ń gbọ́ mi báyìí?
Yes,
Ṣé ń gbọ́
ma'am.
mi?
Mo ń gbọ́ yín mà.
Ok, alihamdulilayi rabbil alamin. Ṣé ẹ jẹ́ kí n mo fẹ́ mo fẹ́ rọ̀bù nǹkan kan bẹ̀ yẹn èmi náà fẹ́ fi bíi cream mo fẹ́ fi pa àwọn nǹkan kan tẹ sọ ń bẹ̀ yẹn sìn. Ṣé rí gbogbo àwọn nǹkan tẹ sọ yẹn kó tó lè
Yes,
work
ma'am.
ní Nàìjíríà ó máa take years and years and years.
Bẹ́ẹ̀ ni mà. Mo jẹ́ kí n sọ pé nǹkan tí mo ṣe ń sọ níbẹ̀rẹ̀ ni pé nǹkan tí mo jẹ́ kí n sọ níbẹ̀rẹ̀ ni pé is finding a solution to mental health problem in Nigeria is like eating a big elephant. Ṣé ń gbọ́ mi sísà mi?
Yeah.
And báwo ni wọ́n ṣe fẹ́ you know how big an elephant is? It's a very big animal. And how do you try to eat this elephant? You have to cut it small size at a time. So
Yeah.
we cannot just say, okay, you have a deep mental health and we are going to solve it. It's going to take time because the problem that is there did not start today. It didn't start today. It has been there for years and years and years and years. And in order for us to get there, we also need years and years and years of practice and education before we can get there.
Ẹ wo reason tẹ̀yin tó fi jẹ́ wípé wọ́n mú ọmọ lọ sọ́dọ̀ pásítọ̀ táwọn náà wá fi ń ṣe iṣẹ́ torí ẹ̀yin sọ ẹ mọ̀ pé statement kan tẹ sọ lẹ́ẹ̀kan yẹn pé ẹ mọ bí pásítọ̀ ọ̀bóyá àfà bó ṣe máa wà lórí wípé òun náà fẹ́ mú ẹni tó ní mental health issue lọ fún sìn because àwọn family ò lówó tí hospital fẹ́ gbà mọ́. Mo mọ èèyàn kan, family kan tí kan ṣẹlẹ̀ sí ní yàpá ọwọ́ ọ̀tún tàbí ọwọ́ òsì ló ń pè é. Bóyá mi ò bóyá bíi 2-3 years ago nsìn ni àbúrò onítọ̀hún yẹn ló fi wà ń bẹ̀. Ìgbà tó wà ń bẹ̀ wọ́n fún ní bẹ́ẹ̀dì,
Yes,
ó gba
ma'am.
treatment, ó dẹ̀ ń wà okay ńgbà yẹn, ẹ understand nsìn. But ẹni tó jẹ́gbọ́n yìí kò
Yes,
ní
ma'am.
agbára láti lè sponsor kinní yẹn mọ́, because owó tó ń gbà wọ́n máa gbowó bẹ́ẹ̀, bóyá nǹkan tá à ń sọ yìí, bóyá almost be 150,000 every month. A rí èèyàn kan tó jẹ́ pé ó lọ ṣe underground, tó lọ pretend bẹ́ẹ̀ ní pé wèrè lòun, tó fi lọ síbẹ̀ yẹn náà, tó fi rí gbogbo àṣírí wọn, tó dẹ̀ jẹ́ kí fídíò so many things tó ń ṣẹlẹ̀ ń bẹ̀. Owó ló ń gbà, wọ́n tún wá ń ṣe ẹ̀mọ́ra wọn lọ́wọ́, àìmọye owó tán gbà gan tí ò wọnú àpò ìjọba. Kí ni woman yẹn sìn, kí ló fi mú àbúrò ẹ̀ kúrò ń bẹ̀?
Bẹ́ẹ̀ni.
Ó ní wọ́n tún máa pe òun ni tówó yẹn bá pẹ́, bóyá owó bẹ́ẹ̀dì ni o tàbí àwọn ti fún lóògùn, ó yẹ kẹ́ wá sanwó ní. Ẹ wo irú yìí, ẹ wo irú ayé yẹn, ẹ wá wo irú ayé yẹn pẹ̀lú ayé ìlú òyìnbó, ẹ understand sìn. Ìgbà tó wá sún irú èèyàn bẹ́ẹ̀ yẹn sìn, ó
Mm.
láti gbé onítọ̀hún yẹn lọ sí ọ̀dọ̀ àwọn àáfà. Àwọn àáfà ò dẹ̀ ní oògùn kankan tó jẹ́ kí bóyá wọ́n fẹ́ fún wọn ju pé tó bá rí pé wàhálà eléyìí pọ̀, bóyá kán fún lóògùn oorun kó sùn lọ, tó bá dẹ̀ ti jí kó jẹun, bóyá ẹ understand sìn. But wọ́n á fẹ́ bèrè nǹkan kan lọ́wọ́ yín ni wípé because kọ́lọ́hún kó ṣàánú àwa Áfíríkà ni, because ọlọ́run náà ní
Bẹ́ẹ̀ni.
ogun ọ̀tọ̀, ọpọlọ yìí náà tọ̀, everything ló níṣẹ́ tiẹ̀ tó ń ṣe. Ṣé fíò pé bóyá gbogbo
Bẹ́ẹ̀ni.
àwọn àáfà, àwọn pásítọ̀ tó ń dá sílẹ̀ yẹn, ṣé rò wípé gbogbo àwọn nǹkan yìí ló jẹ́ pé bóyá àdúrà nìkan ló lè wò sàn? Bismillah.
Àáfàá àbí àwọn pastor, I don't think that they can cure mental health, and this is from my own personal experience. Mo fi ń sọ̀rọ̀ because tẹ bá wo nǹkan tí àáfàá lè ṣe, á bá yín ṣe àdúrà, á ní pé kẹ́ gbàdúrà, kẹ́ gba àwẹ̀, kẹ́ gbàdúrà, kẹ́ gba àwẹ̀. It's not going to solve the problem. Òótọ́ ó yẹ ká máa gba àdúrà, ká dẹ̀ máa rò pé kọ́lọ́run kó wà bẹ́ẹ̀ pẹ̀lú wa láti help wa for what we need to do and what is it that we want. But it's also important we actually look at the root of the problem. Àdúrà ó máa ń gbà lóòótọ́, ṣùgbọ́n àdúrà alone cannot cure mental health. I cannot emphasize it enough because it's just like pé èèyàn ní kidney problem. Kò lọ sí ọ̀dọ̀ doctor láti help ẹ̀ pẹ̀lú kidney issue. Ó wá ń gba àdúrà pé kidney yẹn máa get better. To dey get better, ẹ rántí ní beginning mo ní pé is one organ in our body, the brain. And if it's affected, it affects our mental ability, it affects how we behave in the society. So if you are not doing anything láti cure what is happening in the brain, àdúrà cannot get there to do it. Àdúrà cannot do it. It's important we pray, but àdúrà alone cannot work. And I'm saying it this boldly. Àdúrà alone cannot work. You need to pray, yes. But my dear sisters and brothers and family and society, we also need to get the medical treatment that is needed. That is why we need government input. Because mental illness can make somebody go up and down the hospital for years over years and over years. How long èèyàn fẹ́ máa ná owó láti lọ sọ́dọ̀ doctor? Ó lè sún yàn. But téèyàn bá ní government input, tí wọ́n yẹ pé certain service is provided for the citizens of the country for free for people that have this kind of condition, or even if it's not free, but they pay certain amount of money, then people will be inclined láti lọ sọ́dọ̀ government to get that treatment and not go to afar tó máa gbàdúrà all the time. It's not going to cure you, my dear. It's not going to do you anything. Ṣó yé báyẹn? I hope I have answered that question.
Ẹ ṣé gan ni jẹ̀sákàlà òkèrà ni. Mo rí wípé ká má bá wa ṣe ojú kòkòrò, a fẹ́ jẹ́ kí a mú wá sí òpin lórí wípé bí introduction la ṣọ́ra ṣe ní ọjọ́ títí òní. Inshallah very
Yes, ma.
soon, very 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 a máa tún bẹ̀ yín pé kẹ́ bá wa wá àkókò díẹ̀ láti yọ̀ǹda fún wa. A máa gba ẹ́ la ìṣẹ̀ máa wá choose any topics a fẹ́ treat nísìn. Bẹ́ẹ̀ náà dẹ̀ mo ti rí àwọn sísítà wa kan náà táwọn ti sọ wípé àwọn náà lè bá wa wá treat dementia kínní náà. Kí Ọlọ́run kó ṣe dáadáa fún wa. Ṣé mọ̀ wípé nǹkan tó wà ní under mental health issue ó pọ̀ rẹpẹtẹ. Kọ́lọ́run kó ṣe. Màá fẹ́ kẹ́
Bẹ́ẹ̀ni.
introduce ara yín fún wa lóní ṣókínsìn so that a lè tètè release yín fún àwa tá a ti mọ̀ yín àtàwọn tó ń ṣe join yín sìn. Salamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Gẹ́gẹ́ bí mo ṣe sọ ní ìbẹ̀rẹ̀, orúkọ mi ni Azeeza Saka. Mo ọ́bí mi sí ìlú Èkó ní Nàìjíríà. And ibẹ̀ náà ni mo ti lọ sí primary school and secondary school. I spent my secondary school in Abakaliki Secondary School. And shortly after my secondary school, I moved over to Europe in Ireland. Èyí tí ìyá mi máa ń pè ní Ireland. So from there on, I went on to do my degree level in Dublin City University and finished my master's degree in Trinity College. Kí ni ó jẹ́ kí n lọ sí di mental health? Mo like láti máa ran èèyàn lọ́wọ́ púpọ̀ jù. Mo dẹ̀ máa ń fẹ́ láti ṣiṣẹ́ tó jẹ́ pé tí n bá ṣe fún èèyàn, mo rí ìyàtọ̀ yẹn lára ẹni yẹn. And I can see that in mental health, I can do that. Even with my eyes closed, I can provide that care. And I love what I do, and it is what I am doing. At the moment, I'm going further to become a counseling psychologist in mental health care. And inshallah, I will finish it soon. Èmi jẹ́ ní ẹ má yẹ kí n gbàgbé ilé. Àwa èmi náà ni wọ́n tún máa ń pè ní Aya Saka láti ìlú Ìṣídùrè. Thank you.
Ẹ ṣe gan ni Jazakallahu khairan. Ìyàwó olórí Alhaji Saka ta máa ń pè níyàwó dókítọ̀ tọ́lá wa ti mọ̀ yín láti pẹ́tipẹ́ láti ayé alásàlátù làwa ti mọ̀ yín ta ti máa ń pè yín ní ìyàwó dókítọ̀. Mọ́ṣálá tabarakàlà ìyàwó jẹ́ dókítọ̀ ọkọ náà jẹ́ dókítọ̀. Mọ́ṣálá Ọlọ́run á fi báràkà tó pọ̀ sínú ilé yín. Àárín ẹ̀yin àtọlọ́run yín ò ní dàrú kò ní bàjẹ́. Àárín ẹ̀yin àti àwọn olólùfẹ́ yín àtàwọn ọmọ yín náà kò ní dàrú kò ní bàjẹ́. Gbogbo nǹkan tẹ wá fẹ́ yẹn ní ti dáadáa àbí Ọlọ́run kó ṣe fún yín pẹ̀lú rọrùn. Gbogbo èyí tẹ tí wá ní lọ́kàn náà fún àwọn ọmọ yín débi tẹ fẹ́ kán dé àbí Ọlọ́run Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala kó bá yín gbé wọn jù bẹ́ẹ̀ lọ́gàn ní ti dáadáa. Ọlá kún fàyà kún ọlá ìjẹ́kan ṣoṣo Ọlọ́run. Àlàáfíà lèèyàn fi máa wá rí ẹ̀sìn ṣe àbí Ọlọ́run Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala kó jogún àlàáfíà fún yín kó tún wá jogún àlàáfíà fún ọkọ yín torí òun ni a máa fi ilé ayé wa ṣe. Ọlá kún fàyà kún ọlá ìjẹ́kan ṣoṣo Ọlọ́run la hawla wala quwwata illa billahil azim. Mo really appreciate yín Ọlọ́run á bá wa appreciate yín. Jazakallahu khairan. Ẹ ṣe gan ni. Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. A dúpẹ́ lọ́dọ̀ Ọlọ́run Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wípé ibi tí a bá ti ọjọ́ títí òní ibi tá a bá dé a bẹ̀rẹ̀ pẹ̀lú bisimilahi a dẹ̀ tún kú ìpalẹ̀mọ́ ọ̀la inshallah a fi àkókò yìí a fi ń kíra wa wípé Eid Mubarak àbí Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala kó jẹ́ ká ṣe ọ̀pọ̀lọpọ̀ ọdún láyé nínú ọlá ńlá nínú ìfọ̀kànbalẹ̀ nínú ojú rere àánú Ọlọ́run ọba. Ìgbà tó bá máa tún wá di ọdún tó ń bọ̀ àlékún oore ní kọ́lọ́run jẹ́ ó jẹ́ fún èmi àti yín àlékún ìmánì àlékún ọgbọ́n àlékún gbogbo nǹkan tó dáa òun ní kọ́lọ́run kó jẹ́ fún gbogbo wa. Ẹ̀yin tẹ́ ń gbọ́ mi lọ́wọ́lọ́wọ́ àtẹ̀yin tẹ́ tún máa gbọ́ mi létà àbí Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala Ọlọ́run ní jọ́ gbòkú ọmọ káwa mọ́lé àní mọ́ sáré ọmọ àwọn ìyá wa náà bàbá wa àwọn ní mọ́ sáré tiwa náà gbogbo òkú mùsùlùmí náà kí Ọlọ́run kó bá wa ṣíjú àánú wò wọ́n kó fi àlùjọ́nà Firdaus kó fi ta wọ́n lọ́rẹ. Ọlá títóbi Ọlọ́run ọlá ìjẹ́kan ṣoṣo ọlá la hawla wala quwwata illa billahil azim. Ẹ̀ṣẹ̀ náà ló ń tì wá kákàkiri àbí Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala kó ṣe àforíjì fún wa torí nínú ẹ̀ṣẹ̀ náà ti bí wa òun la ti ń lọ òun la ti ń bọ̀ òun la ti ń jẹun òun la ti ń mu ẹlẹ́ṣẹ̀ ni wá ẹrú ẹlẹ́ṣẹ̀ ni wá àbí Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala kó ṣe àforíjì tó pọ̀ fún wa nílé ayé àti lọ́jọ́ gbẹ̀ǹdẹ̀ àlìkíyàmọ̀. mo wá fi àkókò yìí náà mo fi ń rọ̀ wá, mo fi ń bẹ̀ wá wípé ẹ̀yin tí ẹ ń bá wa dá sí ọ̀rọ̀ charity wa, please ẹ má jẹ́ kó sú yín, ẹ má jẹ́ kó rẹ̀ yín. Látòrí 1,000 naira láti bẹ̀rẹ̀ ní Nigeria money. Àwọn wo dẹ̀ la máa ń ṣọwọ́ sí kúdùrú fún? Bóyá àwọn tó jẹ́ wípé opó ni wọ́n, àwọn ọmọ òrukàn tá à ń rán lọ sí school, àwọn tí ara wọn ò le tó jẹ́ wípé àti rí owó fi rògùn gan baba problem ló jẹ́ fún wọn. Gbogbo àwọn nǹkan yìí ni Ọlọ́run ń lo àwa láti ṣe. À á fẹ́ bẹ̀ yín pé kẹ́ ẹ jọ̀ọ́ kẹ́ torí ti Allah kẹ́ darapọ̀ mọ́ wa. Ẹ̀yin tẹ́ báyìí tí mọ account number wa, òun ló wà ní ojú amóhùnmáwòrán yìí. Bẹ́ẹ̀ náà dẹ̀ la dẹ̀ tún máa ń kó àwọn nǹkan lọ sí Nàìjíríà náà. Bóyá àwọn aṣọ ni o, bàtà ni o, nǹkan ọmọ school ni o, bẹ́ẹ̀ náà la tún máa ń ṣe. Gbogbo ẹ̀yin tẹ́ bá ti mọ̀ wá tẹ́lẹ̀tẹ́lẹ̀, ẹ mọ gbogbo àwọn nǹkan tá à ń ṣe. A dẹ̀ tún ní àkáǹtì charity wa yìí náà nínú UK níbí báyìí. Anyone tẹ́ bá fẹ́ fi bá wa darapọ̀. Bóyá ẹ tún wá fẹ́ wo gbogbo àwọn nǹkan tá a ti ṣe lórí Facebook níbí báyìí fún bí ọ̀sẹ̀ kan, oṣù kan ní 2 months 3 months ago ni, ẹ lọ sórí YouTube. Gbogbo àwọn videos wa náà ló wà ńbẹ̀. Ẹ type Dr. Zabby Sanusi síbẹ̀, ó máa gbé àwọn oríṣiríṣi wá fún yín. Ẹ̀yin tẹ́ bá dẹ̀ tí like page wa, bóyá ẹ tí follow wa, please ẹ tẹ like àti follow so that a bá ń ṣe any program lọ́wọ́ á lè máa fún yín notification. Abẹ́ Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala kó má fi eléyìí ṣàṣemọ fún èmi àti yín. Ìpàdé wa di next month nìyẹn, torí pé oṣù eléyìí ti parí. A máa ní program ní on the 5 àti on the 6 inshallah. A dẹ̀ máa gbé àwọn àáfàá ńláńlá wá fún ọjọ́ méjèèjì yẹn. Wọ́n fẹ́ wá bá wa treat àwọn topic tá a ti choose sílẹ̀ fún wọn ní on the 5th àti on the 6th. Màá try láti ṣe notification kò sí flyer ẹ̀ náà, màá send ẹ̀ síta so that ẹ lè join wa. Please ẹ̀yin tí ẹ bá ti share ètò àtẹ̀yin tẹ́ máa wò later, ẹ bá wa share so that àwọn ẹlòmíì náà máa lè jàǹfààní. Ibi báyìí náà la máa dúró sí lọ́jọ́ títí òní. Orúkọ ẹ̀mí tí mò ń bá yín sọ̀rọ̀ ni Dr. Zabby Sanusi láti ìlú UK. Àìmọ̀ ní mí tí ò ń ṣe àìmọ̀ fólókó dàbí báwo làwọn Yorùbá ṣe máa ń sọ. Olórí Ayọ̀ọba Sanusi. Ìpàdé wa di ọ̀sẹ̀ tó ń bọ̀ ní on the 5th inshallah. Kọ́lọ́run má lókun ló sọ̀rọ̀. A tún kíra wa sí lẹ́ẹ̀kan sí wípé Idi Mubarak. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala kó jẹ́ aṣọ̀pọ̀lọpọ̀ ọdún láyé. Kọ́lọ́run má fi lè ṣàṣemọ fún wa. Subhanaka Allahumma wa bihamdik. Ashhadu an la ilaha illa anta astaghfiruka wa atubu ilayk. Subhana rabbika rabbil izzati amma yasifun. Wassalamu alal mursalin walhamdulillahi rabbil alamin. Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. One love gbogbo ilé o. Assalamu alaikum.